Mission Impossible 3. If you guys didn't know, I'm currently in the middle of reviewing every single Mission Impossible movie before Rogue Nation comes out. I've already covered 1 and 2 on my channel. Those reviews are up right now if you want to check them out. Let's start talking about the one that finally picked things back up again after 2 was like... no. In Mission Impossible 3, Tom Cruise as Ethan Hunt is about to get married to Michelle Monaghan. This girl is like everything for him. She's showing him what life beyond IMF is like. And Ving Rhames as Luther Stickle is back, and thank goodness, because he's one of the best parts of all of these movies. And he's like, yo man, we can't have that kind of stuff in our line of work, my brother. I don't know about that, my friend. And Seymour Hoffman, the best villain in the entire series so far, haven't seen 5 yet, plays the bad guy in this movie. And Hunt is on a mission to try to capture this man, and he seems to be slipping through their fingers all the time. Now, just like my first 2 Mission Impossible reviews, there are going to be some minor spoilers and possible major spoilers throughout this review. So if you haven't seen MI3 yet, go check it out and then come back and watch my review. You have been warned. Let's talk in depth about this movie. First off, Aaron Paul's in this one. Yeah, watching it again, I was like, holy crap, that's Aaron Paul right there. Now, there are good things and bad things to MI3. I don't think it's a flawless movie at all. There are definite things that have improved over Mission Impossible 2, though. For one, the biggest thing is that they understand that Ethan Hunt is not James Bond. This guy is not a playboy swinger who goes around sleeping with women, smiles and winks at cute girls, and then does impossible things without ever getting hurt. Because that's what MI2 was trying to be. It was trying to be the later Pierce Brosnan era James Bond movies, and it didn't work out. MI3 recognizes that these are people, and J.J. Abrams took over as director for this movie. This was his first feature film that he directed. And he does a really good job, for the most part, helming the action scenes and even the dramatic scenes. He understands what this series needed at the time, and it was some serious adrenaline, because MI2 for the most part was a humongous bore, and although it made a lot of money, really the only reason it made so much money was because people liked the first one. And what Abrams did so well with this movie was inject that energy into it. This is an extremely fast-paced movie. I mean, there's rarely ever a dull moment. There's hardly ever any downtime in MI3, and I also think that's MI3's biggest flaw. Each scene feels like these gigantic scenes back to back, and sometimes these scenes don't feel like they connect very well. Sometimes it's hard to really get inside the characters' heads because they are always running as fast as they possibly can, or getting adrenaline injected into their hearts, or getting some sort of thing injected up through their nose, or jumping off a roof, or flying through the air, or just something crazy that it's hard to really sit down for a second and go, these are characters. And that is my biggest issue with MI3. There just wasn't enough character building moments in between these huge action sequences that are awesome. There are multiple scenes in this movie that give me the goosebumps, that they're just really well done. The bridge scene involving this drone that's just laying waste to this convoy of vehicles, and Hunt having to get inside this car to get this huge gun to try to shoot at it. I mean, that is a fantastic scene. It has the big money shot explosion you all saw a billion times in the trailers back in the day. One of the earlier scenes in the movie in which Hunt has to rescue a former teammate of his by infiltrating this base, all really riveting stuff. And one of my favorite parts of MI3 is this incredible sequence where Hunt has to run about 1 mile to get to this phone signal, and Simon Pegg, as Benji in his first role in the series, is leading him to this signal, and you get this epic, like 20-second long unbroken take of Cruise just barreling down this road. It is awesome. I mean, I know a lot of people make fun of Tom Cruise. He likes to run in his movies, but let's face it, man. He's pretty freaking good at it. And it has that great stunt sequence where he hops from rooftop to rooftop. There's also a really dangerous stunt in this movie that's always impressed me that happens so quick, no one ever talks about it. Cruise is running along the streets of Shanghai trying to catch this rabbit's foot device that they are trying to get. It's rolling down the street. He finally gets it, and he goes like this, and a car stops right by his head, and that thing is centimeters away from knocking Cruise in the face. That is one of the best stunts I've seen him ever do. It's so quick in this movie, but it looks fantastic. One of the things that Abrams did so well in this movie is he understood that putting people, human bodies, in the same frame as some amazing explosion or action sequence really lends to the realism and makes it a lot more intense. But at the same time, the cinematography can be a little crowded in this movie where he uses close-ups too much. In fact, Abrams himself in a documentary said he tends to use close-ups too much, and I can definitely see that in MI3. In recent years, he's definitely pulled back on that, and that could be from his background in TV, because this is his first feature film, and in television, directors generally use a lot more close-ups because it's the small screen, because you don't have as big of a canvas as someone who's directing for a movie theater would. Another good addition to this movie that not too many people ever really talk about was Laurence Fishburne as Ethan Hunt's boss. I thought he was great. He was a badass. He has this amazing line where he's like, I kid you not, I will bleed on the flag to make sure the stripes stay red. But let's talk a little bit more about Philip Seymour Hoffman. This guy is really good in this movie. The only issue really I have with his character is that there just isn't enough emotion given to him. There isn't much of a backstory. You don't really know anything about him. He's just a really evil guy. He's excellent with what he's given. There's an amazing scene on a plane. Do you have a wife, girlfriend? Wherever she is, I'm gonna find her. I'm gonna hurt her. Yeah, what I did back there with your friend, that was fun. That's fun. All joking aside, one of the biggest issues with the MI films is that the villains really aren't that strong. Hoffman killed it in this movie, and he brought a good villain to the franchise, finally. So overall, MI3 is a really entertaining movie. It was far better than its predecessor. It understood the things that were wrong with its predecessor. There was more action. Ethan Hunt was actually Ethan Hunt again. He just wasn't some James Bond superhero guy on a motorcycle who can fly through the air and smack into the villain and not die instantaneously. And although the plot was going for more humanity, it couldn't really reach that because of the limitations from the screenplay and the fact that there are so many larger-than-life action scenes. They all sort of blend together sometimes, and the structure of the film becomes a little bit messy. Everyone's really great in this film. The action and the acting are all on the top of their game. It's just that the film could have used better structuring. Still, I'm going to give Mission Impossible 3 a B. So guys, I'm looking forward to bringing you my review for Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. That's going to be coming very soon. And then at the end of the month, Rogue Nation comes out. I'm super pumped to bring that for you guys. And as always, thank you so much for watching this. And if you like this, you can click right here and get Stuckmanized.